Hi, thanks to everybody. Thank you for welcoming us here today. We're really pleased to come and tell you what we're doing in the street today. So I'm Vicki Marsden and Leeds Council. So I support a whole lot of play initiatives across the city. So I run a number of initiatives across the city around engaging people and developing initiatives for children to play in the city. And one of the things that we do is Leeds Play Streets. So as I say, I'm Vicki Marsden. So this is Gary's in charge from our highways department, and Gary is going to talk to you a little bit about the processes and requirements in terms of the legalities of Play Street, and then I'm going to talk to you a little bit about play, the benefits of play for children. So I'll hand you over to Gary.
Morning everybody. We first started the Play Street initiative about 3 years ago to close a length of highway to allow children to play. We have to go through some legal requirements to physically close a road and use the appropriate legislation, which in turn puts a lot of emphasis on the organiser, who have to meet certain criteria. Is the road on a bus route, for example? If it is, then it's an absolute non-starter. Ordinarily, these roads are on residential roads, cul-de-sacs, so it's normally straightforward. We've put together an application form that we we believe that's not too onerous on the organiser. We have our telephone number displayed on our website, so if people are confused or they want to answer questions, they can get in touch with us to try and make that as easy and straightforward as possible, which appears to be working. We're getting in excess of 100 Play Street applications each year, and the scheme seems to be growing quite nicely. We did get a lot of requests for traffic signs and barricades to physically close the road. As a highways department, all of our signing is centred around roadworks, so we didn't really have any. So we decided to create some stickers, some of which you can see here, that are designed to fit on wheelie bins, so people can fit those onto the wheelie bins and physically barricade the road to provide a safe space for the children to play. And that's about it, really. I will be hanging around during the break, so if anybody wants to come and ask me a little bit more, then they can.
Okay, so why play? Why do we think that is important in Leeds in terms of enabling children to play? Why do we think that is important? And so can I just ask who in the room played out in their street when they were a child? Okay. And can I ask, what do you play? Knock down ginger. Oh. Knocking on the door and running away and hide. Okay. And how did it make you feel when you were playing it? So giddy and adventurous. So how many of you have children playing out on your street now? Good to see that there's still a few, but are considerably less than what played out than you playing out when you were children. So we wanted to try and address that in Leeds and provide as many opportunities for children to play freely in their city and to feel like where they live is where they belong and get to know the people that live there. So when children play, they develop skills, they develop their social skills, they learn how to negotiate, they learn how to feel excited, they learn how to be creative, to solve problems, they learn how to understand people's body language, what that feels like. So all those skills that we need to develop being. So that, in essence, is about children being healthy physically and both mentally as well, so the healthy development of a whole child. So one of the generally accepted benefits of play that's recognised nationally is that play allows children to use their creativity while developing their imagination, dexterity, and physical, cognitive, and emotional strength. So play is what children and young people do when they're allowed free time and space to use in their own way, for their own reasons, for no external outcome, reward, or goal. So it's what they do for their own reasons in their own way. And much of that is about process, not having an end goal. So evidence shows that the best way to stay both physically and mentally healthy is through access to a variety of unstructured play. And street play is what enables that in Leeds to happen, along with many other ways that we try and develop unstructured time and space for children to play. So it's about children being and not becoming, and recognising that it's important time in their lives to be children, and to recognise that children being children right now is important. So street play initiatives across the country have demonstrated benefits for the whole community, so not only children. And an initiative in Bristol called Playing Out, the Playing Out movement, they started in 2009 and have been doing this for considerably longer than we have. And they have recently been doing some evaluation, which we'll also do towards the end of this year, to see what the benefits are to the residents and the children in the streets in Leeds. So some of their findings for children, so what are the benefits to children to keep them healthy and getting to know their streets and their neighbours. So the benefits to Playing Out brings in Bristol, this was in January 2019, so children learnt or improved their physical skills, including riding a bike, so 80% of the children were riding bikes, scootering, 85%, roller skating, 63%, skipping, 66%. So real physical development and developing their skills was evidenced throughout this evaluation. So others mentioned were about skateboarding, skills like hopscotch, hide and seek, no mention of knocking on doors and running. The vast majority of respondents said that children had learnt or improved social skills during Playing Out sessions, including interacting with others, learning about road safety, interacting with adults. So quite often we get asked about road safety and closing the roads. Is that not teaching the children the right skills around road safety because the streets are closed? But actually it has quite the opposite effect. So children are understanding that when their streets are closed, it's a safe place to play, but also recognising that when they're open, they've got to be a bit more aware, and they know a bit more aware about their road safety. So it had the opposite effect. So others mentioned were about making friends, negotiating, sharing, looking after each other, awareness of respecting other people's property, so how others feel, mixing with other cultures. Lots of children were scared about talking to strange adults, but the sessions have broken down some of those barriers. So the benefits to the overall community were also drawn out with this evaluation. So what they found, adults reported that they know more people on their street feels friendlier, safer place to live, children on the street have made new friends, and they feel they belong more to their neighbourhood. And some of the comments were that Playing Out has really helped bridge the generation gap. It's been a very positive experience, and some feedback that we've had in Leeds that we're finding that is also the case. And many of them found that led on to being involved in other community groups and activities, so it led on to wider activities. The impact on children's health is obvious, and also for the whole of the community. and we just need to encourage more time and space and opportunities to give children to play in their own way, for their own reasons, and that is part of what we're trying to do in Leeds across the city. So thank you.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's so interesting, Vicki. Thank you. We probably have time for one question. Do we have anything? Hello, I'm going to run with the mic if you don't mind.
I suppose the thing I'd most like to ask is how widespread is this already? Because it seems to me it's such a simple initiative, really, because play is so important. So how widespread in the UK is this at the moment, and what else can we do to spread it throughout the country?
There are a number of cities across the country that are looking into it or delivering it already. So there's a lot of London boroughs, Bristol, Newcastle. We often Gary gets a lot of phone calls from other authorities that are wanting to introduce it in the same way, asking about what legislation we run it by and the types of things that we do and sort of how that works technically. So it's growing, but there's still a lot more work to be done. Okay.
Wonderful. Thank you so much.
Cheers. Thank you.